Hi, good afternoon. I'm Joe again here, e-bikes 420. Riding home on the CN rail, I had to pick up a flash drive for my videos because I don't want to clog up my computer full of videos. I'd rather save it on a flash drive with my e-bike rides. So, you know, coming up, there's an intersection up here where it's a bit weird. You know, the CN rail, you know, kind of stops, and then you got to cross over the tracks and cross again the road and then get back on the CN rail. Or you'll see it when I get on the video. But it's weird because it crosses the train track where I broke my clavicle bone when I was 19 years old. My ex-wife thought it'd be good if we quit smoking cigarettes by the time we got married. This was in May and we were getting married in July. Well, we hadn't quit for one day, and back then I was smoking a pack a day, so, you know, and of course now I don't smoke any cigarettes, maybe one a year, and that's about it, you know. I like smoking my weed there. But, yeah, so my ex-wife, you know, she was like, you know, let's just quit smoking cigarettes. So I was nicking out. It was Victoria Day. It was May, you know, 1990. It was pouring rain out, and I was like, man, I really could use a smoke. And she was like, no, and we're starting to argue, and I'm like, couldn't take it anymore. So it is strange because back then I was going to ride from here all the way to the gas station, and for some reason that's 2 miles, and that seemed like a faraway distance on a regular bike. On an e-bike, that's nothing. You know, I would just go there and come back and be no big deal. But so yeah, and see, this is the that weird intersection. You see, and back then the CN rail didn't exist at all. So you know, it's and there was no bike structure. It wasn't like it is now. You know, I remember it was right there is where I frickin' broke my bone, where I fell with my bike, and I was more pissed off than hurt. Honestly, I don't remember feeling hurt, and I remember taking my bike and throwing it and saying, I've had enough of this thing or whatever, and I threw it, and this guy in the pickup truck, he saw the whole thing, and back then the train ran, and this was just a few minutes before the train was coming, so I was also like worried. So he helped me. I remember I put the bike in the back of the pickup truck, and then he drove me home. I just lived up the street with my ex-wife, and before we were married, and it was I come back. I took the bike and I threw it against the wall, and I come in and I'm bleeding all over, and I don't realize I'm bleeding all over, right? My arm is broken right here, and I didn't realize my arm was broken. So I'm like, well, my shoulder, I should say, my clavicle bone, right below the collarbone. And she's like, oh, what happened to you, whatever? And I'm like, well, I built on the train track just up the street here. And she said, we gotta take you to the hospital. And I was like, well, first of all, we're buying cigarettes, I told her. If I'm gonna sit 4, 5, 6 hours in the hospital, I want to have a couple smokes first of all. And there's no way I'm going to the hospital without having a cigarette. So then on the way to the hospital, we stopped off, got a pack of smokes. But yeah, it's strange, you know. I think about that day every single time I pass by the train track, and I pass by the train track at least once a day. Sometimes twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. So it's like weird. But yeah, I thought I'd share that experience with you guys. It's, you know, it's strange, yeah. And back then the train track was like really slippery. I remember it was raining. That accident is burnt in my brain. And it's not like we didn't have a car. You know, we had a car. We both, in fact, you know, she had her car. It's you know, because in fact when she drove me to the hospital, we stopped. You know, so it's like she was just being cheap. That's all there was to it. You know, and it turned out costing more money. The guy in the scooter.